Well, a great afternoon to each and every one of you. It is top of Friday. We are excited to have you here. I am excited to have you here. So, congratulations. I say Friday, yay, it's Friday. And we are excited for another experience of Mindset Matters podcast. And so I invite each of you to share and be able to share this broadcast as this moment. If you are watching the replay, of course, this information that's getting ready to be shared, I am thoroughly excited to be able to share with you and to engage with you. It is just the same. It is still all the way live, even in the replay. So for some of you, it's good morning, good afternoon. Some other countries, it might be good night. But whatever part of the day is we are in, we know that it is all the way live. And so welcome to the Mindset Matters podcast. I am excited to be the host and the founder. My name is Tori Marshall, and I am the founder of this great movement that God ordained. And so I bring you greetings from the best side of Chicago, South Side, best side. And I tell you, the birds are chirping here in Chicago, and we have what's called the cicadas. Cicadas are definitely out and about. It is these flying insects that when they get together, they make this huge noise, and this noise definitely could go on and on for hours. So a lot of us are ducking and dodging the cicadas. Hopefully you're conquering that. If not, we're going to make it through. But we are excited here in Chicago. We have fireworks going off already. No, it is not a particular holiday that's on the horizon as of today. We're excited because we are embracing warm weather. It has always been a challenge for us here in Chicago, but we made it once again to the other side. It doesn't take that much for us. And so the flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, it is warm weather, and cue up summertime song. And so we hope whatever part of the country and the world that you're from, that you're enjoying every season. Every season counts. The winter counts, the spring counts. We are getting ready to enter into our summer season. And so we just hope, and my prayer is that you are enjoying every season of life. And so my name is Tori Marshall. I am a woman of God. I am a wife. I am an auntie. I am a friend. Ride you till the wheels, the spokes fall off. I am a servant of God. I am the minister of Christian education. I am so many things. But the main thing I know that I'm a woman of prayer. I love God with my whole heart. I thank God for my honorable husband, the true GOAT himself, not the greatest of all times. As you all know, I don't say that. That is Common, and I did not court, date, or marry Common. Not referring to the rapper, although he's from Chicago as well. But I am a womb man, womb of my mom and the womb of the mindset to be able to praise God for the God-ordained anointed trailblazer of my husband. And I'm ever evolving. And so a lot of times our definitions of who we are still change, and they're ever evolving, but who we are should be defined by what we do in that category and in that order. And I'm also grateful and honored to be a servant of God. I know that he has called me to speak, to be the voice for this time and age, and I'm excited and honored to carry that mantle. I love education. That's at my heart in every form and fashion. And I'm also the founder and Christian mental health strategist of Mosaic Wellness Company. And so a part of that is here today, Mindset Matters podcast. If you have not followed me yet, please do go to my page, Tori Marshall. Also, you can definitely follow me on my YouTube page. That is Mosaic Wellness Company. And it's all about strategies. There's a strategy for everything. And within this movement, there is a lot of times where we miss those strategies. And so let's celebrate first that we are at the halfway mark of 2024. We have arrived to June. That's not everybody's story. And so every week I'm looking forward to bring more content as it relates to the mind, more strategies, and just relative information that we can all glean from, because the name of this podcast is truly fulfilling its name, because the mindset truly does matter. We can have all of the accolades and all of the different academia. That is wonderful. But if you don't have the mindset to be able to move forward, you won't be able to manifest those things that God has called all of us to do. And so I'm not for certain if you saw the title of today's podcast. This is a beautiful, just symphony of how the Lord orchestrated this podcast. And it is called The Marian Mindset, as well as the Martha Movement. And the question is that what is the spiritual womb of your legacy? What is it? And so that's the question that we were looking to get answers to on today, and looking to get challenged. I know a lot of times after a certain hour of work on Fridays, a lot of times people say, yes, welcome to the weekend. I don't say the weekend anymore. The Lord shifted me in my sayings because we have to be intentional on what we say. And so I don't say weekend, because you can't be weak in the end, WEAKEND. But we want to have a win end. And so what better way to go into the win end with a winning mindset and have a mindset that truly matters? And so that question for who's Marian, I'm so glad you asked, and who's Martha, I'm so glad you asked. And the way I phrased it, even in the wording, was Mary, and I put "and" in parentheses because, as you all know, for those of you who don't know, in the Word of God, there are two sisters, and it's Mary and Martha. And so I am referring to two powerhouse women. One you have seen definitely in a lot of video footage on television, all of those things. The other one, not necessarily, but I can guarantee you that she definitely left a lasting imprint that speaks volumes and that continually illuminates this world. And so let's dive deeper to it. I say it's a true M&M. It's not going to give you any cavities today, but these two M&M powerhouse women, WOMB, MEN, they definitely have just their lives to speak for themselves. And I'm talking about Marian Robertson, and I'm going to talk about her more in detail. And then who is Martha? I'm so glad you asked. I'm going to answer that question in just a second. And so for those of you all who are not aware, this time last week, I was doing a Mindset Matters podcast, not knowing that later on we would all receive the news of a trailblazer within her own right, Marian Robinson. She was the mom, and I believe still is. You know, she's the mom of our former First Lady Michelle Obama. She passed away last week, Friday, at the tender age of 86 here in Chicago at home. And so because of that, she was definitely well known. But not only within that, Marian Robinson had a mindset. And so initially when I heard the news, I began to pray for Michelle because of the fact I knew at that moment she no longer had a dad or a mom that's living. And I am a testament of that, as well, as my dad just recently passed in December of this past year, December 23rd, 2023. But I began to also celebrate her mom, because her mom truly is a legacy maker in her own right. And she definitely had an impact made while she was, as you know, in the White House. And so let's take a side-by-side profile of these women, WOMBMEN. Let's take a side-by-side profile. And so we have both Marian Robinson, born and raised, like I said, South Side, Best Side of Chicago. She was a mom, and she birthed two children, married, definitely started off in education, moved into being an administrator and doing profound things, raised in the Pullman community. Of course, you know her daughter went on, and her son went on to do grandiose things. Marian Robinson. Now, let's stop here. Let's go back to Martha. Who's Martha? For those of you who don't know, I'm so glad you asked. Martha was my mom. Martha Tyler. My mom was also Martha Marian, and in her own right. Now, she was born in Rising, Arkansas. Oh yes, it was Grand Rising, Arkansas, a small town. But I tell you, her parents, my grandparents, birthed a true powerhouse within her own right. And so she got her education at University of Arkansas in Pine Bluff. And then my dad actually wanted to do bigger things. And so because of that, he was also born in Arkansas. They met in college, and he took a leap of faith. This is a leap year. He took a leap and wanted to do bigger things. So he moved actually to South Side of Chicago, and then began a family. And sure enough, Marian Robinson had two children, of course, Michelle and Craig. And then my mom had two children. Teray Raymond Tyler is my brother, and then myself, Tori Roche Marshall. I was a title, but now I'm married. And so also making an impact in education, also making an impact in just her love for people, her love for community engagement, her love for God's word, and really, really understanding what her role is. And also want to add to the fact that her daughter, Michelle, Marion Robinson's daughter, and myself, Tora Roche Marshall, actually went to the most elite high school ever. That is Whitney Roy Young Magnet High School. So what does that mean for us? That was a journey. Every single Monday through Friday, Whitney Young was located literally on the opposite side of the city. But our parents made that investment that they wanted us to have a stellar education, and not just education, but a stellar experience. And so because of that, they always empowered us and made that investment, both Marion as well as Martha. And so because of that, we read the stories of Marion. We read the stories of how she just really made an impact, how she just moved with the family, stayed in her place. You know, her mission was fulfilled in terms of what her role was. And so because of that, they always use moments of life to teach, to share, and empower. My mom, Martha, was the same way. She had a classroom, room 220, Curtis Elementary School on the south side of Chicago. To me, was the baddest elementary school teacher ever. Taught kindergarten, first grade for 32 years. She had over 25 years of perfect attendance. And because of that, she always used opportunities of learning. And it wasn't just in the classroom. I say both of them were life class learners, and we learned so much from the both of them. And so how these two melanated women truly made not an influence. Oh, I want to be an influencer. I don't say influence. I want to be a person of impact who makes an impact. And that's another dimension. And so I went to the tribute and the official announcement that Michelle Obama made of the passing of her mom. And I went through just what she said and the words of her. And it really spoke volumes to her mindset. And then it also spoke to my mom, Martha, just in terms of the impact that she still has. And I'm constantly going through my mom, still getting cards, still reading through cards, different notes from people, seeing people out on the street, seeing people even in the childhood neighborhood that I was born and raised in, just still talking about, just certain words of wisdom. My mom shared with them certain things in terms of, your mom shared this information and the strategy with me. Now I use that, whether it's raising their families, raising their children, whether it is incorporating strategies into their work, into what they're doing in the field of education. You never know what the value of your words are as far as making a positive impact. And so not only it was the words and wisdom of my mom and Marion shared, but how they've implemented those things. And so because of that, it's always understanding what the backdrop is. So if you all haven't gotten a chance to go over to her Facebook page, I know it is on Michelle Obama's Facebook page when she made the announcement. She talked about the tribute of her mom and just making the announcement of her mom's passing. Now, the words that caught my attention, it was all beautiful from beginning to end. She said that her mom shared with her, and even in her mom's backdrop of just growing up and just having a two-parent home and just what her mom did, and even the background of her mom literally being raised by her mom, which is Michelle Obama's grandmother. Her grandmother actually had to be raised Mary Robinson as a single parent. And so even from that, showing the tenacity that Michelle Obama's grandmother, Marion Robinson's mom, had that fortified her. And so in that tribute, at the very end, I don't want to give it all away, but this is what truly resounded as I read it. She said, and she was sharing with Michelle and her son Craig, she said the whole world is full of little Craigs and little Michelles. She'd often remind us, underline the beauty and potential within, here it is, every child. As I read those words, immediately the word came before me, legacy. And it shifted. The question is, what is the spiritual legacy of your womb? Now we see the legacy of the womb that not only Marion birthed, and I'm definitely saying with my mom, Martha birthed within myself and within my brother, and even within my niece and nephew, which is my mom's grandchildren. Never got a chance to see them. My niece and nephew never got a chance to see and meet their grandmother, but it still lives on. And so that's the question that I ask and present to all of us, because we all have some form of a spiritual womb. Whether we are birthing a vision, a dream, a new business, relocating to a new city or state, or whether it is getting a new job position or just renewing our mind. That's a whole movement. And so not only was the physical form of the womb Mary and Martha, but their spiritual womb nurtured countless children. Not just physical, but spiritual children, neighbors, even the story that Michelle was sharing about her mom. She would sneak out of the White House to go to CVS to purchase greeting cards. Although she moved physically to the White House, and she could have had her moment where this is my time, I want to meet all of the superstars. She never did that. She only said she wanted to meet one person, and that was the Pope. That was it. And she met him. Other than that, she stayed and fulfilled her mission of undergirding her daughter, undergirding her son. She didn't say son-in-law. That's why she held his hand right before they made that announcement of him becoming president. And Michelle asked her mom, like, well, no, why did you do that? She said, you know what? He lost his mom early in life. Dad is no longer here. I wanted to have some parental interaction, knowing that he was getting ready to step into this position. So humble. But her mindset was in a position to undergird and still be a woman of birthing the authenticity of who God created her to be. Very humble, still had everything in place when moving into the White House, never was in the limelight, but she was always that foundation that Michelle talked about. So it was with my mom. My mom had that foundation, never wanted to be in the limelight. She could have. She was a Golden Apple Scholar Award recipient, so many years of teaching, so many leadership positions, even within the church and different ministries she was a part of. But she knew that she was an educator, whether it was grocery shopping, whether it was in the parking lot, whether it was at the baseball field, it was just who she was. So what is your spiritual womb of a legacy? What is that leaving, and how is that impacting? And so I want to do 3 takeaways with you on today. What is your spiritual legacy of your womb? Now, this doesn't have to wait until we're no longer here on earth. If the seasons of your life is transitioned, if you were working in a particular location and you're no longer there, but you know your gifts and talents were used and implemented to fortify new strategies, new ways of doing things, new management systems in place, that's a legacy right there. What are you doing in your daily conversations? That's why you have to be very mindful of not entertaining dialogue. Dialogue could be something that keeps you busy, but not purposeful and productive. And so the first question is, what's your takeaway? What is your spiritual legacy of your womb in its current state? Some of your wombs are malnourished because, unfortunately, some of the disappointments, some of the traumas that you've experienced, some of the triggers in a negative way has caused you not to nourish the womb of your mind in even creating any type of legacy. And we want a positive, impactful legacy that we want to leave. Number 2, with Marion, she had a mindset. What is your mindset? And what is the movement that you're posturing into? So for me, like I said, I realized that the foundation of education is in my veins. And it's from that movement, even from my mom. I didn't sign up for it. I didn't even know it was going to happen. It just authentically began to take shape and form within itself. Why? Because I made sure to constantly renew the womb of my mind first. The womb of our hearts. Some of you all are experiencing heart attacks. Oh, no, I don't. I didn't have to go to the hospital. No, you had a spiritual heart attack. Your heart has been attacked by words of other people, by manipulation, by control, and there's a fear there. There's a fear that you can't trust people. There's a fear that you feel that you have been taken for granted. There's a fear that you feel that people are mistreating you. And because of that, the Lord is saying, I need for you to be made whole, not healed. Healed is physical. You want to be made whole. And so for that, that is the other question. What's the movement, your day-to-day movement? From the time you wake up, what is your movement? Are you entertaining social media? Are you trying to wait for a clap back from somebody who put a response out? Or are you intentionally moving with your mind to say, yes, I know the things that are facing me today. It's not going to be easy, but my movement matters. Because Marion had a mindset. My mom, Martha, had a movement. And together, those two things should start leaping greatness within you. It should start leaping innovative ways and new beginnings and new ideas. And so from that, my level and foundation of education, I realized it's within me wherever I go. From mental health, from working with masterpieces, I never call them clients, to providing strategies, to now I'm a minister of Christian education, honored to do that. Working with children, high school girls, creating curriculums that are God ordained, to this current curriculum now, birthing, literally, I am womb man. That was God. I did not sign up for it. I didn't say throughout the year, oh, these are the number of curriculums I'm going to write. Every curriculum the Lord has birthed through me, it is all Him. And it's His set timing. What is your set timing to move? Some of you all are moving into seasons or staying stagnant in season. Guess what? You need to do a wardrobe change. My husband and I, right, it's getting warm. It already is warm. And guess what? Wardrobe change. If we're still wearing sweaters and this weather, guess what? People are going to look and say, well, what's going on with you? Because guess what? The seasons have changed. What's the season of the mindset? What's the season of the womb of your mind? Let's do a wardrobe change. There's some things you have to shed. There's some things you have to leave and get pruned in, because guess what? The Lord is saying, I'm trying to empower you to move into this new beginning. And that is why it has to be a mindset movement. And although Marion Robinson was in the White House, her mindset was still of the foundation of the South Side of Chicago, because guess what? She was fortitude in faith. She was fortitude in education. Michelle talked about just how many table conversations they would have. Same thing here with my mom and my parents. I'm grateful for that because they kept our minds going. Even during the summer, and I'm laughing because my mom did the same thing. She said they would have all these learning experiences during the summer. Every summer, when my childhood, people would ask, oh, well, what are you going to be doing? We went on vacations down south in Arkansas and things of that nature. And I said, well, I'll be in summer school too. They said, well, where's that summer school? I said, the Tyler Summer School. Where is that? My home. My mom had curriculum binders for myself and my brother. I had the red, he had the blue. And there were worksheets that my mom had for us to do. It wasn't all day. It was like about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we still did our swimming and ballet and dancing and all those things. Baseball, my brother, myself, swimming, all those things. But they realized that education mattered and that they wanted to keep us ahead and they wanted to keep us immersed in just higher level learning because they actually want us to do better than they did. That's what legacy is all about. Legacy shouldn't be, well, I want you just to stay on the same plane with me or below. Legacy is, I want you to do better than even me. And that is what a movement is. And then the final takeaway. And I want to start off with a real life experience. About 3 weeks ago, for those of you all who are just coming on, if you're not aware, I shared earlier in the podcast that my dad passed away on December 23rd, 2023. My mom passed away when I was 19 years of age. She passed away October 18th, 1996. And so prior to my mom's passing, my mom loved gardening. And so there was a small garden in the backyard of the house, and she planted flowers every year. And so even the last year before she passed, she planted flowers, and she had the seeds, and we would go to the nursery, plant the seeds, all of that. And so after my mom passed, those flowers were still there. But after that, they died off, or so we thought. Hold on to it. And I know my dad, he is the greatest landscaper, truly a great one. As people know around the neighborhood, he was known for the lawn care. He was known for the bushes, all of that, kept it manicured and pedicured. and arched, all of it, eyebrows arched, all of that in a landscaping way. But he did not go into the backyard to plant anything else. Well, 3 weeks ago, my husband, we were here at the house, and my husband, we were in the backyard. My husband was in the backyard, and he said, hey, babe, come here for a second. And I shared with him about this area that my mom had planted flowers and things of that nature, but at that moment, there was nothing there. And so I come to the back area, in that same area, and he says, you told me, Mom, your mom had planted some flowers. And he said, was this one of them? And lo and behold, these are not weeds. We recognize weeds. These are not weeds. The flowers that my mom had planted, the seeds that my mom had planted, and I was with her when we bought them, and I remember we planted. When I looked at the flowers, I said, yes, those are the flowers. Mind you, my mom has gone on to be with the Lord October 18th, 1996. My dad did not plant any more flowers. I did not take any more seeds and plant anything. And the Lord said, pay attention. Because this is what legacy is. Although the seeds that my mom planted, I'm not going to cry, but the seeds that my mom planted in that backyard, in that garden, I had not seen for decades. And now it has flourished into a beautiful plant. Do not forsake the sowing of the seeds from within the spiritual womb that God has given you. I don't care how long it takes. And I mean, it is growing so beautifully to the point where guess what? It gets us revived now. And so now we're like, you know what? Hey, let's do something to this backyard. So here it is. Let's go to the nursery. Let's get some more flowers to plant around it. Come on, somebody. Plant around the leg. That's legacy. And so don't fret small beginnings. Even if you don't see an impact. We're seeing the impact now. My husband never met my mom. But the impact lives even through in that flower. Because while my mom sowed the seeds, she planted the seeds. Third takeaway. What seeds are you sowing now that can flourish into a garden of greatness from your spiritual womb? That plant alone had a whole dissertation. I see my mom in that plant. I know my mom planted those seeds. And sometimes you can't see it. Why? Because the seeds were what? Underground. A lot of movement that takes place is underground. But you have to have the mindset. That's why Marianne Robinson's mindset and Martha's movement, my mom, both of them are needed. Because the mindset to say, you know what, I'm going to plant these seeds. You all know. You don't see anything. And mind you, my mom has been gone to glory for years, decades. And the Lord said, I still haven't forgotten. I'm going to show you that everything that I have been sown into you, that your parents sowed into you, that I have planted within you is still going to come to pass. And it looks as if we just planted those seeds about 3 or 4 months ago. That's how new it looks because it just happened. It wasn't there. It was dirt, or so we thought. For years, I was to the point where I stopped looking because I said, well, Mom has passed. I didn't see anything growing, but it's still ever evolving. The womb that is within us of our minds, the things that have been sowed, the seeds that have been planted within us still have to be cultivated. My mom was consistently consistent in watering those seeds. And guess what? Now, 26 years later, after my mom has gone to glory, those seeds are still growing and flourishing. And so I know we hear the question usually, oh, what legacy would you like to leave? And usually that's after we pass away. My question to you as we finalize this podcast on today is what legacy do you want to live right now that has an impact? You don't have to wait until you pass away. What legacy do you want to live right now? We saw Marianne Robinson's legacy of her mindset living way before she just passed last week Friday. My mom's legacy, I saw it lived out. Why? I saw people coming to my mom. Oh, she had a walking partner 2 doors down, her neighbor, our neighbor growing up. They would always walk in the morning. When my mom passed, she would always say, before she passed, she said, it wasn't just about us working out in the morning. When I would talk with your mom, it was conversations that I needed. It was words of wisdom that I needed right now. They were both educators. My mom educated in elementary school. She taught high school. But guess what? She said, yeah, you thought we were just walking to get our morning walk and our exercise. She said, I knew that that was a moment for me. And my mom moved in the moment. What seeds are you sowing today? What seeds that have been planted within you that you need to nourish? What are the seeds? Come on, somebody now. This is live feed. This is not even in my notes. What are the seeds that you know other people have planted within you that you know you haven't been nourishing? You haven't been nourishing in God's word. You haven't been nourishing in faith. Or you've been nourishing in fear and doubt because it hasn't moved yet. Even when my mom's body was stricken with cancer, she was still moving. She was still moving in what? Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. That was a movement. Even right up to the day that she passed, still moving. And even when Marion Robinson, when their time in Washington, D.C. was fulfilled, and they said she moved back to Chicago, guess what? Her mindset was still the same. She was still engaging with people, engaging with her friends, still lively, still empowering. That's what the Marion mindset and the Martha movement is all about. And so I challenge each and every one of you today. Not what legacy do you want to leave? What legacy do you want to live in the here and now? And the beautiful thing about it is you can start today. Today, right now. What are the seeds that I know that I can leave an impact right now that I can sow into other people's lives, whether it's a word of encouragement, whether it's a text message, whether it's a card. Sneak out of the White House like Marion Robinson did. They said she would go to CVS, just trying to get some greeting cards. And here it is. People at CVS, they will look around and say, you know, are you Michelle Obama's mom? You look just like her. This is what her response is. She said, I get that quite often. That was it. She didn't say, yes, it's me. I'm taking autographs. So humble and so fortified in her own right. Same thing with my mom. My mom got the Golden Apple Recipient Award. That's the highest award you can get in education. But guess what my mom's real mission was? She was grateful for that. Her main mission was, and she moved in it authentically. She didn't have to wear a shirt. She didn't have to blast gospel music. She walked it out on a day-by-day basis. She wanted other people to know Christ. How do I know? On the day of her homegoing service, well, the first one here in Chicago, as her former students were filing past her casket, and even afterwards, they came up to us, my brother, myself, and my dad. They said, because of your mom, I gave my life to the Lord. This is kindergarten. And first grade she taught. They said, because of your mom, I knew that I could make it. I came from a toxic home. I came from parents, and people in my household that would argue and scream, and she always believed in me. So room 220, they thought was a classroom. I knew room 220 was a whole sanctuary. Why? Because my mom would come in with two of her other colleagues, and guess what? They were shutting down in prayer 15 minutes before they had to go get the students. Because guess what? I don't know the full thing, Lord, but you do. You're going to have to give me the wisdom and the knowledge. So they thought it was a classroom. I saw it for myself. Because the days that I was off out of my own school, I would go to school with her. And I saw it for myself. Those were the seeds that were sown. And guess what? My mom has passed on. I still see some of her former students today. And their children's children. They said, your mom still makes an impact. Some of the words she say, I have turned that into a whole movement for my family. I've imparted those words into my children. That's the here and now. What seeds are you sowing? Top 3 takeaways again. What is your mindset of your spiritual legacy of your womb? That's the first takeaway. The second takeaway, what is the movement that you're postured into? Are you postured into faith or are you postured into fear? It's going to move you some way. And sometimes there is no movement. And the last one, what are the spiritual seeds that you're sowing now that can flourish into a garden of greatness for your spiritual womb? Let's not leave a legacy. Let's live a legacy. And I challenge each and every one of you, share your 3 takeaways. It's about engagement. Share your 3 takeaways. How has this impacted you? How can you impact other people today? And even within that, I am rocking one of the shirts that I'm grateful that the Lord birthed through me. The seeds that were sown in this movement. This is a whole movement, a whole vision that the Lord gave. For those of y'all who are not aware, I just launched it about 2 weeks ago. It is called I Am Womb Man. You see this? Right. Not woman, but womb man. It is for women that we all have a womb. We really do. We all have a spiritual womb. And so, yes, when you usually hear about wombs, it's a physical birth, but we want you to be defined. And this is one of the shirts that you want to rock this definition. This is a definition that the Lord gave me. It's a 9-week virtual experience. I don't do conferences. I don't do workshops. They're all experience. It's virtual. It kicks off July 18th. You don't want to miss it because it starts with nurturing the womb, the spiritual womb. And so all of these big time businesses, dreams, visions you want to do, you want to impact your neighborhood, you want to impact your workplace, you want to impact your family, your children. And if you're looking for a solution, I can guarantee you this is the one, because it was some spiritual labor pains on this one. And so I'm the evidence-based model of this whole 9-week movement. It will be every Thursday. It'll be in the evening. Not only will you receive that, there is also going to be a private group, Facebook group page you'll be a part of. There's also going to, everything is live. And you'll also have 2 group live sessions so that when WMB, like Marion Robinson in D.C., while she was in the White House, right? Marion Robinson mindset, Martha Tyler movement. So you can gather around with other women from all across the country and be able to share, impact, empower. You'll also receive a customized I Am Woman shirt. These are made not just to, oh, that's so cute, these little colors. No, it's a movement. You want to be defined by what you wear. What are you rocking? This is a perfect time to get your wardrobe in check. And also, won't be this size, but it's a customized tumbler. The young woman, still in high school, she is biz bad. She created this tumbler. Once I shared with her the vision, she used her creative gifts. This is what I'm talking about. Her mom sowed seeds into her vision, and this is what manifests. You better, I pray your summer will not be the same. I pray that you will have a summer higher learning experience. And I know this is from the Lord, and I know it won't change you. It'll transform your mindset and the womb of your mind, so you can really say, what spiritual legacy of the womb am I imparting? And so not only will you get that, but you'll get strategies. You will get divine connections with other women. You'll also have some guest speakers that'll be coming in. And I will tell you, it will be a summer like none other. You make the investment in everybody else. You invest in other people's projects, ideas, visions, dreams. How about you nurture your woman and be able to take this investment? And I will tell you, the return on the investment is priceless. It will be like none other. Go to my website today, mosaicwellnesscompany.com. You'll see products, and under that, you can register and enroll into the I Am Woman experience. You can also purchase. We've got a couple of shirts here in different colors. You'll be able to purchase that as well. Get defined. Old definition. I know you usually think about physical definition. I'm talking about get defined and who you are as a woman. Rock that out. And I pray that you will begin to shift as we are embarking upon the official summer season, that you'll take these top 3 takeaways and be able to impact others for the world. Because I will tell you the legacy of Marion Robinson, the mom of Michelle Obama, and I will tell you my life. There are people who never met my mom, but I hear it every single day, literally. They say, Martha is all over you. They say your mom is all over you, because it was really the spirit of God that was in my mom. Then now that mantle is on me, and I'm honored. So who am I? People say, oh, you Martha 2.0. I am. And I'm still Tori Marshall in my own right. The authenticity, but the foundation of those seeds that were sown still is flourishing, just like it is in the backyard of my parents' home, from this plant that my mom sowed these seeds decades ago. And now it has flourished for such a time as this. You are destined for greatness, and I just wholeheartedly believe for such a time as this, it is now time for you to flourish, just like those seeds that my mom planted years ago. I thought that was the end, and the Lord has shown me that it's not. So guess what? It leaked in the womb of my spirit man, of my mind. And now I'm ready to go even higher, to higher dimensions. Come join me on this journey. I Am Woman experience. And I will tell you, you will be forever transformed. And here it is. You will have a legacy for the here and now, and for generations to come. And so I love each and every one of you all. Please go to my YouTube page. Subscribe if you have yet to do so. Mosaic Wellness Company. Let's all get our minds renewed. Seasons are changing. Let our mindset change, and have a mindset Marion moment that will create into a Martha Tyler movement. because our mindset truly matters. Love each and every one of you all. Let's not make it a weekend. Let's make it a win-in. And let's not make it a good day, but let's transform into a God day. Continue to be blessed. Love each and every one of you all. And join me again next week for another Mindset Matters podcast, because our mindset truly does matter. And let's not make an influence, but let's make an impact. Take care and make it a great day. A God